She stole my fortune for her lover. My revenge shocked them all. I caught her whispering his name in the dark. It wasn't mine. That was the moment I stopped being her husband. If this story moves, you don't forget to drop a comment and subscribe to Viora for more unforgettable stories that speak to the heart. My name's Eric Lowry, 48, owner of a small but steady chain of auto repair shops in upstate New York. 7 locations, 40 employees, and a reputation for honest work. I'm not a millionaire, but I've got enough to keep the lights on, take my wife Sierra on a cruise every summer, and put a down payment on a cabin by Lake Ontario. Life wasn't perfect, but it was good. Or so I thought. Sierra, 38, was the spark in our marriage. Former paralegal, now a part-time yoga instructor with a smile that could sell ice to a snowman. We'd been married 9 years. No kids, but we had plans. At least I did. That night I was in bed scrolling through invoices on my phone. Sierra was asleep beside me, or so I thought. Her breathing was soft, steady. Then she murmured something. I froze. Gil. Clear as day. My chest tightened. Gil as in Gil Carter, her old college friend who'd crashed our 4th of July barbecue last year. The guy who'd lingered too long, laughed too loud, and kept refilling her wine glass. I shook it off. Just a dream, right? But the seed was planted. Next morning, Sierra was up before me, humming in the kitchen, brewing coffee. She kissed my cheek, handed me a mug. Sleep okay, babe? She asked, all sunshine. I nodded, but my eyes lingered on her. Was I paranoid? I didn't want to be that guy snooping, accusing. So I went to work, buried myself in oil changes and balance sheets. But the name Gil echoed. By noon, I couldn't focus. I called her, no answer, texted busy with class. She replied with a heart emoji, normal to normal. That evening, I got home late. Sierra was on the couch, scrolling, her phone, legs tucked under her long day. She asked, not looking up. Yeah, I said. Loosening my tie, you. She shrugged. Same old, but something was off. Her phone screen glowed and I caught a glimpse of a chat bubble before she locked it. My gut twisted. Who's that? I asked, casual. Her eyes flicked to me, then away. Just a friend from yoga. You don't know her. Her voice was smooth, but her fingers tightened around the phone. I didn't push. Not yet. But the next week things piled up. She started working late at the studio even though her classes ended at 6. She'd come home smelling of perfume I didn't recognize. Once I found a receipt in her purse, $200 dinner at a steakhouse in Rochester. We hadn't been there in months. When I asked, she laughed it off. Girls' night, Eric, relax. But her eyes didn't meet mine. I wasn't stupid. 9 years of marriage teaches you patterns. Sierra was slipping and I was done waiting for answers. So I did what any guy would do. I checked her phone. She was in the shower, steam curling from the bathroom. Her phone sat on the nightstand unlocked. My heart pounded as I opened her messages. There it was, Gil Carter, dozens of texts. Miss you last night was unreal. Can't wait to see you again. Timestamp 2 a.m. when she'd been asleep next to me. My hands shook. I scrolled further, photos. Her in a red dress. I'd never seen his arm around her. A hotel room keycard on a nightstand. I felt the air leave my lungs. The shower stopped. I locked the phone, set it down. Sierra emerged, towel-wrapped, humming. You okay, babe? She asked, brushing her hair. I nodded, jaw tight. Just tired, but inside I was burning. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it rewires you. I wasn't just her husband anymore. I was a man with a score to settle. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed proof, not just screenshots. So I called my old buddy Tom Hayes, 50, a divorce attorney who'd seen it all. We met at a dive bar. Neon lights buzzing. Eric, you sure about this? Tom asked, sipping his bourbon. Once you dig, there's no going back. I leaned forward, voice low. She's cheating Tom with Gil Carter. I need to know how deep this goes. Tom sighed, scribbled a name on a napkin. Lydia Price, private investigator. She's discreet, expensive but worth it. I pocketed the napkin, my resolve hardening. Lydia was a no-nonsense woman, late 40s, with a handshake like a vice. We met in her office, a cramped space stacked with files. What do you want, Mr. Lowry? She asked, pen poised. The truth, I said. Every detail, she nodded. Give me 2 weeks, don't tip her off, act normal. Normal, like that was possible. For days I played the part. Kissed Sierra, good morning, laughed at her jokes, but every touch felt like a lie. Meanwhile, Lydia worked. Her first report came via encrypted email, photos of Sierra and Gil at a vineyard, her head on his shoulder. Bank statements showing cash withdrawals $5,000, $3,000 funneled to an account I didn't recognize. A hotel booking in Syracuse paid with her credit card. Each detail was a knife twist. But the kicker, Gil wasn't just some fling. He was her business partner in a side hustle, a yoga retreat startup. My money, my savings were funding their dream. I sat in my truck outside the shop, rain streaking the windshield, reading Lydia's email. My marriage wasn't just broken, it was a scam. Sierra wasn't just cheating. She was building a new life with my cash. I gripped the steering wheel, knuckles. White revenge stories start like this, don't they? A man pushed too far, ready to burn it all down, but I didn't burn. I planned. Tom set up a meeting with Sierra's lawyer, a slick guy named Victor Marshall. I walked in, briefcase in hand. Lydia's evidence tucked inside. Victor leaned back, smug. Eric, let's keep this civil. Sierra wants the house, half the business, and alimony. I smiled cold. She's not getting a dime. I slid the folder across the table. Photos, bank records, texts. Victor's face paled as he flipped through. Where'd you get this? He stammered. Doesn't matter. I said, tell Sierra the game's over. That night I came home to chaos. Sierra was pacing, eyes wild. You hired a PI, she screamed. You're spying on me. I crossed my arms, voice steady. You're sleeping with Gil Carter, using my money to bankroll it. You don't get to play victim. She froze, then laughed bitter. You're pathetic, Eric. You think you can ruin me. She stormed out, slamming the door. The house felt empty, but for the first time I felt alive. The next twist came fast. Lydia called at midnight. Eric, you need to see this. She sent a video. Sierra and Gil arguing in a parking lot. Gil shoved her hard. She stumbled, tears streaming. My blood boiled. Cheater or not, nobody touches my wife, ex-wife. Whatever. I drove to Tom's house, showed him the footage. What's my move? I asked. Tom rubbed his temples. This changes things. She's not just a cheater. She's in over her head. Gil's got a rap sheet. Fraud, assault. You want revenge? Use this. I didn't sleep that night. Sierra's betrayal wasn't just personal. It was a heist. But Gil, he was the wild card, and I was done playing nice. The man I'd been loyal, trusting, Eric Lowry, was gone, and his place was someone new. Someone who'd fight dirty to take back what was his. Then came the bombshell. Lydia dug deeper, found an email from Sierra to Gil. Eric's. Too soft, it read. He'll fold, we'll take everything. Attached was a forged document, a loan agreement. My signature faked, tying my business to their startup. If it held up, I'd lose the shops. My legacy. My life. I stared at the screen, rain tapping the window. This wasn't just a revenge story. This was war. I met Lydia at a diner, dawn breaking. What's next? I asked. She sipped her coffee, eyes sharp. You've got two choices. Confront them now. Risk a messy fight, or play their game smarter. I leaned back, mind racing. Sierra thought I'd fold. Gil thought I was soft. They were wrong. I looked at Lydia, voice like steel. Let's bury them. The plan took shape. Tom filed a countersuit, freezing Sierra's accounts. Lydia tailed Gil, catching him meeting a shady investor, some guy tied to offshore accounts. I hired a forensic accountant, Claire Evans, 45, who traced the money, every withdrawal, every transfer. Sierra had siphoned $120,000 over 6 months. My savings, my future, funneled into their scam. Claire's report was airtight. You've got them, she said, handing me the file. They won't see this coming, but they almost did. Sierra showed up at the house unannounced, mascara streaked. Eric, we need to talk, she said, voice shaking. I let her in, wary. She sat on the couch, twisting her wedding ring. I messed up, she whispered. He's not who I thought. I'm scared. My heart tugged, old habits dying hard. But then I saw it. Her phone buzzing on the table. Gil's name. A text. Stick to the plan. She was playing me. Again I stood towering over her. Get out, I said, voice low. She blinked. Shocked. Eric, please, out. She grabbed her purse, fled. The door clicked shut and I exhaled. No more games, no more lies. I called Tom, file everything. Now the next day I walked into Victor's office, Claire's report in hand. Victor skimmed it, sweat beading. This is serious, he muttered. Serious, I said, leaning forward. It's theft. Fraud. Tell Sierra she's got 24 hours to drop her demands, or I go to the cops. Victor nodded. Rattled, I walked out. Sunlight hitting my face. For the first time in weeks, I felt in control, but control is fleeting. That night, my phone rang. Unknown number, I answered. A man's voice rough. Back off, Lowry. You don't know who you're messing with, click. My pulse raced. Gil. It had to be. I locked the doors, checked the security cameras. Nothing but the threat hung heavy. This wasn't just about Sierra anymore. Gil was dangerous and I was in his crosshairs. I sat in the dark. Claire's report on the table. Lydia's photos scattered. My marriage was ashes. My business. My savings teetered on the edge. But I wasn't folding. Not now. Not ever. Sierra and Gil thought they'd won. They thought I was weak. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The phone call lingered like smoke. Gil's voice, gravelly and laced with menace, echoed in my head. I didn't sleep. My house, once a home, felt like a cage. Every creak of the floorboards, every shadow outside the window set my nerves on edge. But fear wasn't my style. I was Eric Lowry, and I wasn't about to let some two-bit conman like Gil Carter run me off my own turf. By morning, I was back in the game. I called Lydia, told her about the threat. Gil's rattled, she said, voice calm but sharp. Means we're close. I'll dig into his contacts, see who he's running with. I nodded, though she couldn't see me. Find out fast. I'm not waiting for him to make the next move. Then I rang Claire, the forensic accountant. Any more on the money trail, I asked. She didn't hesitate. Sierra's been sloppy. Another $10,000 moved last week. Offshore account. Cayman Islands. I'm tracing the beneficiary now. My jaw tightened. Offshore. This wasn't just betrayal, it was a heist on steroids. I drove to my main shop, the one in Rochester. The hum of drills and the smell of motor oil grounded me. My crew, loyal guys I'd known for years, nodded as I walked in, but I wasn't there to work. I needed to think Sierra and Gil weren't just after my savings. They were gunning for my business. That forged loan document. If it held up in court, they'd own half my shops. My legacy, built from 20 years of busted knuckles and late nights, gone. I wasn't letting that happen. Midday, Tom called. Victor's panicking. He said Sierra's pushing for a settlement, but your evidence has them spooked. They want to meet tomorrow. You ready? I gripped the phone. Ready, I'm itching to end this. But Tom's voice dropped. Eric, there's something else. Victor let slip. Sierra's been meeting with a guy named Paul Whitaker. Big shot investor ring. Any bells? I froze. Whitaker. The name hit like a punch. He was a client from years back, a slick real estate mogul who'd brought his Bentley in for repairs, always tipped big, always asked about Sierra too much. Yeah, I said, voice low, I know him. That afternoon, Lydia sent a new file. Photos of Sierra at a rooftop bar in Syracuse, laughing with a man in a tailored suit. Paul Whitaker. 50 silver hair, shark smile. My stomach churned. Gil was bad enough, but Whitaker, he was a player, the kind who bought loyalty and crushed enemies. If he was bankrolling Sierra's scheme, this was bigger than I thought. But why Whitaker? What did she have on him? Or worse, what did he have on her? I didn't have time to dwell. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Check your mailbox. My pulse spiked. I grabbed my keys, strode to the curb. The mailbox was empty except for a single envelope, no stamp, no address. Inside, a USB drive and a note. You're not the only one watching. No signature. I should have called Lydia, but curiosity burned back inside. I plugged the drive into my laptop. A video loaded, grainy footage of Gil and Whitaker in a parking garage arguing. Gil jabbed a finger at Whitaker's chest. You said this was clean. Whitaker smirked, unfazed. It is. Lowry's. The mark stick to the plan. The video cut out. My blood ran cold. The mark me. This wasn't just Sierra's affair or Gil's scam. It was a setup. Whitaker was pulling strings and I was the pawn they'd planned to bleed dry. But who sent the USB? An ally. A rival. I called Lydia, forwarded the video. Find out who's tailing Gil. I said, someone's playing both sides. She didn't miss a beat on it. But Eric, watch your back. Whitaker's connected. This could get ugly. Ugly didn't scare me. I'd built my business from nothing, faced down suppliers, competitors, even a robbery at gunpoint. But this was personal. I met Tom at his office, showed him the video. His face darkened. Whitaker's bad news. Old money, dirtier hands. If he's in, Sierra's not just cheating. She's in deep with a shark. I leaned forward. Then we cut the line. File fraud charges. Hit them all. Tom hesitated. That's a big swing, Eric. You sure? I met his eyes. They forged my name. Stole my money. Threatened me. I'm done playing defense. That night I couldn't stay home. Sierra's perfume still lingered in the bedroom, a ghost of what we'd had. I drove to a bar, ordered a whiskey. The burn steadied me. Then I saw her. Not Sierra Claire, the accountant. She was at a corner table nursing a gin and tonic. Mind if I join, I asked. She smirked. Only if you're buying. We talked not about the case but life. Her divorce, my shop's the grind of starting over. For an hour I forgot the war I was fighting. But as I left she grabbed my arm. Eric, be careful, I traced that offshore account. It's not Sierra's, it's Whitaker's. She's not the mastermind, she's the bait. The word hit hard. Sierra wasn't just a cheater. She was a tool in Whitaker's game. But why me? My shops weren't an empire. My savings weren't a fortune. What did he want? The answer came the next morning. Lydia called, voice urgent. Eric, I found the USB source. It's an ex-employee of Whitaker's fired last month, name's Hannah Reed, 42. She's got dirt on him, embezzlement, blackmail, she wants to meet. I didn't hesitate. Set it up. Hannah was a nervous wreck, chain-smoking in a diner booth. Whitaker's obsessed with control, she said, eyes darting. Your shops. They're on land he wants for a development deal. He's using Sierra to tank your business force. A sale. My fists clenched. And Gil. Hannah snorted. Gil's a grunt. Whitaker's paying him to keep Sierra in line. But she's cracking. She called me last week crying. Said she wants out. I leaned in. Out? Then why's she still playing along? Hannah's eyes met mine. Because Whitaker's got something on her. Old photos. Compromising ones. From before you. The air left the room. Photos. Sierra's past wasn't a mystery. She'd partied hard in her 20s, ran with a rough crowd, but blackmail. That was a new low. Part of me wanted to save her, drag her out of this mess. But the other part, the part that had read her texts, seen her with Gil, knew better. She'd chosen this. I thanked Hannah, slipped her $500 for her trouble. Stay safe, I said. She nodded, already halfway out the door. The meeting with Victor was in an hour. I walked in, Tom at my side. Hannah's words burning in my mind. Sierra was there. Pale eyes red. Gil sat next to her, smirking like he'd already won. Victor cleared his throat. Eric, let's settle this. Sierra's willing to drop the alimony if you split the business, I laughed. Cold split. She's lucky I'm not pressing charges. I tossed Hannah's affidavit on the table detailing Whitaker's scheme. Gil's smirk vanished. Sierra gasped, hand to her mouth. Eric, I didn't save it, I snapped. You sold me out for him. I pointed at Gil, who shifted, eyes narrow. Then the twist. Victor's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, paled. We need to pause, he said, voice shaky. My office just got a tip. Police are looking into Whitaker fraud extortion. Sierra's eyes widened. Gil bolted upright. This is bull. Sit down, I said, voice like ice. You're next. The room froze. Victor adjourned the meeting, promising to regroup. Sierra grabbed my arm as I left. Eric, I'm sorry, I didn't know it'd go this far. I shook her off. You knew enough. Outside. Tom clapped my shoulder. You rattled them good. But Whitaker's not done. I nodded, scanning the street. A black SUV idled across the road, tinted windows. My gut screamed. Trouble. I called Lydia. Check Whitaker's movements. He's not backing off. She didn't sugarcoat it. He's not. I got a hit on his phone. He's meeting Gil tonight, Warehouse District. You want in? I gripped the phone. Hell yes. That night I parked a block from the warehouse. Lydia's directions burned into my brain. Rain slicked the pavement, streetlights buzzing. I wasn't armed, stupid maybe. But I had my phone recording. Gil's truck was there, next to a Bentley. Whitaker's voices echoed from inside. I crept closer, heart pounding. Gil was yelling, You said Lowry was a pushover. Now the cops are sniffing. Whitaker's voice was smooth, deadly. Relax, Sierra's the fall guy. She'll take the hit. My blood boiled. They were framing her. After everything, she was still their pawn. Then it went sideways. A flashlight beam hit me. Who's there? A third voice, not Gil's or Whitaker's. I froze. Footsteps. I bolted, ducking behind a dumpster. The beam swept past. My phone buzzed. Lydia. Get out now. Whitaker's got muscle. Too late. A hand grabbed my collar, yanked me up. A guy 6'4", built like a tank. Wrong place, pal, he growled. I swung, caught his jaw. He staggered, but not enough. Pain exploded in my ribs as he landed a punch. I hit the ground, vision swimming. Then headlights. A car screeched to a stop. Lydia. She leapt out, pepper spray in hand. Back off, she shouted. The guy hesitated, then ran. Lydia hauled me up. You're an idiot, she muttered, shoving me into her car. We peeled out, rain blurring the windshield. What did you hear? She asked. I coughed ribs, screaming. They're setting Sierra up. Whitaker's the puppet master. Lydia's jaw tightened. Then we take him down. Back at my house, I iced my ribs, mind racing Sierra Gill. Whitaker, they were a hydra, each head uglier than the last. But the USB Hannah's tip. Lydia's hustle, it was adding up. I wasn't just fighting for my business anymore. This was about justice. Revenge stories don't always end clean, but I'd be damned if I let Whitaker win. The next morning, Claire called. Big news. That offshore account, it's tied to a shell company Whitaker's been using for years. Tax evasion, money laundering. I sent it to the feds. I grinned. Pain be damned. You're a genius. She laughed. Just doing my job. But Eric, Sierra's been calling me. She's scared, says Gills, unhinged. I didn't answer. Sierra's tears didn't move me anymore. She'd made her bed. Then the final twist. My shop security system pinged. Footage from last night, someone tampering with the locks. I zoomed in. Gil, he wasn't just threatening me. He was coming for my livelihood. I called Tom, Lydia, Claire. We end this. Now the plan was simple. Bait. Gil, catch him red-handed and tie him to Whitaker. But as I hung up, my phone buzzed. Sierra, a voicemail. Eric, I'm at the cabin. Gil's here. He's got a gun. Help me. Her voice broke raw with fear. I stared at the phone. The cabin. Our cabin where we'd planned our future. Now it was a trap. Or was it Sierra had lied before? But that tremble in her voice, it was real. I grabbed my keys. This wasn't about saving her. This was about ending it. All of it. The voicemail replayed in my head as I floored the gas. The road to the cabin, blurring past Sierra's voice, trembling, pleading. Gil's got a gun. Help me. My ribs ached from the warehouse brawl, but adrenaline drowned it out. The cabin was an hour away, tucked in the pines by Lake Ontario. Our sanctuary, now a potential crime scene. I didn't trust Sierra. Not after her lies, her games, but that fear in her voice was raw. Trap or not, I was ending this tonight. I called Lydia, speakerphone, crackling. Sierra's at the cabin with Gil. Says he's armed. I'm heading there. Her response was instant. Eric, wait for backup. I'm calling the cops. I shook my head, though she couldn't see. No time, just get there. I hung up, dialed Tom. Next, Gil's at the cabin. Sierra's in trouble. Maybe if I don't make it, use Claire's evidence. Barry Whitaker. Tom's voice was tense. Don't be a hero, Eric. I laughed, bitter, too late. The cabin came into view, lights glowing through the trees. Gil's truck sat in the driveway next to Sierra's sedan. No Bentley, no Whitaker. Yet I parked 100 yards back, killed the engine. My phone buzzed. Claire, Eric, the feds are moving on. Whitaker arrest warrants out. Stay safe. I pocketed the phone, grabbed a tire iron from the trunk. Not a gun, but it'd do. I wasn't here to play cowboy, just to survive. I crept toward the cabin, pine needles crunching underfoot. Voices spilled from an open window. Sierra, sharp, angry. You said no one would get hurt. Gil's growl cut through. Shut up, you wanted the money, you got it, now we finish this. My grip tightened on the iron. Finish what, me, Sierra? Both. I peered through the window. Sierra stood by the fireplace, arms crossed, eyes darting. Gil paced, a pistol in his hand, sweat beading on his forehead. He looked unhinged, like a man who'd lost control of his own scam. Then the first twist. Headlights swept the driveway. A black SUV pulled up. Not cops. Not Lydia. The door opened and Paul Whitaker stepped out, suit pristine despite the late hour. My stomach dropped. He wasn't just pulling strings, he was here to tie up loose ends. I ducked low, heart pounding. Whitaker knocked sharp. Gil opened the door, gun still in hand. You're late, Gil snapped. Whitaker's voice was silk. And you're sloppy. Lowry's still breathing. Fix it. Sierra's face paled. Paul, no. This wasn't the deal. Whitaker smirked. The deal's whatever I say it is. I had seconds to move. The back door was unlocked, Sierra's old habit. I slipped inside, tire iron ready, staying low in the kitchen shadows. The living room was steps away. Their voices clearer now. Gil was ranting. Lowry's got evidence. Cops are sniffing. We need to run. Whitaker laughed. Cold run. You're the liability, Carter. You and her, Sierra gasped. Paul, you promised. I promised money. Whitaker cut in. You delivered Lowry's business. Now you're expendable. My blood boiled. Sierra wasn't just bait. She was a dead end. Whitaker had played her same as me. But I wasn't here to save her. I was here to end the game. I edged closer, the tire iron heavy in my hand. Then Sierra saw me. Her eyes widened just a flicker, but Gil caught it. He spun, gun raised. Lowry. I dove behind the couch as a shot rang out, splintering wood. Sierra screamed. Whitaker cursed. Idiot. Not here. Chaos erupted. I lunged, swinging the tire iron. It caught Gil's wrist and the gun clattered to the floor. He roared, tackling me. We hit the ground hard, my ribs screaming. Fists flew as mine. Blood stung my eyes. Sierra was yelling. Whitaker barking orders. Then a new sound siren's Lydia had come through. Gil froze, distracted. I slammed the tire iron into his knee. He crumpled, howling. I scrambled for the gun, aimed it at Whitaker. Don't move, I growled. Whitaker raised his hand, smirking. You won't shoot. You're not that guy, Lowry. I stepped closer, finger on the trigger. Try me. Sierra was sobbing now, backed against the wall. Eric, I didn't know he'd quiet. I snapped eyes on Whitaker. The sirens grew louder, red and blue lights flashing through the windows. Gil groaned on the floor, clutching his knee. Whitaker's smirk faded. You're finished, I said. Feds have your accounts. Your shell company. Everything. The second twist hit like lightning. Sierra lunged not at me but at Whitaker. She clawed his face, screaming, You ruined me. Whitaker shoved her off, blood streaking his cheek. You ruined yourself, he spat. But her outburst gave me the edge. I grabbed her arm, pulled her behind me. Stay down, I said. Gun steady. Police burst in, shouting, Drop the weapon. I set the gun down, hands up. Gil was cuffed, still cursing. Whitaker tried to talk his way out, but the lead cop wasn't buying it. Paul Whitaker, you're under arrest. Sierra collapsed, sobbing. I didn't look at her. The cops hauled Gil and Whitaker out, their voices fading into the night. Lydia appeared out of breath. Told you to wait, she said, half smiling. I wiped blood from my lip. Not my style. She shook her head, handed me a water bottle. You're lucky you're not dead. The cabin was a crime scene now, taped off, crawling with cops. I gave my statement, every detail. Sierra's affair, the forged loan, Whitaker's land grab. Sierra sat in the corner, silent, eyes hollow. She tried to speak once. Eric, I walked away. Her words were ash. 9 years and she'd sold me out for a con man and a shark. No apology could fix that. Days later, the dust settled. Whitaker's arrest was all over the news. Fraud, extortion, money laundering. Gil flipped on him, spilling everything for a plea deal. Sierra faced charges too, conspiracy theft. Tom said she'd likely get probation, maybe a year. I didn't care. My shops were safe, my savings partially recovered. Claire's evidence had sealed it. But the final twist came from Hannah, the whistleblower. She met me at a coffee shop, handed me a flash drive. Sierra's photos, she said. The ones Whitaker used to control her. I hacked his server. They're yours now. I stared at the drive. Part of me wanted to destroy it. Let Sierra's past die. But another part, the part that had bled for this, wanted leverage. I kept it, locked it in my safe. Not for revenge, but for insurance. Sierra was out of my life, but I wasn't taking chances. Weeks passed. I threw myself into the shops, expanded to an 8th location. The crew noticed the change in me, harder, sharper. I wasn't the old Eric, the guy who trusted too easy. I was something else. Then one night I ran into Claire at a client's fundraiser. She was in a black dress, hair down, nothing like the number cruncher I'd hired. You clean up nice, I said. She laughed. You're not so bad yourself. We talked, danced, shared a bottle of wine. It wasn't love, not yet, but it was a start. A real one. Sierra sent a letter a month later. Handwritten, tear-stained. She was in a halfway house, broke, alone. I never meant to hurt you. She wrote, I was weak. Forgive me. I read it once, burned it in the backyard. Forgiveness wasn't mine to give. She'd chosen her path, I'd chosen mine. Whitaker's trial dragged on, but I didn't follow it. Gil was serving 5 years. Sierra was a ghost. My life was mine again. Shops humming, a new truck in the driveway, Claire's number in my phone. But late at night when the house was quiet, I'd think about that cabin, the gun in my hand. The man I'd become. Was I a hero, a fool, or just a guy who'd fought for what was his? I don't have the answer, maybe you do. Was I right to walk away from Sierra's tears? Or should I have saved her one last time? Like what you heard. Hit that like button Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe to Viora because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.